Welcome to Hospitality on the Rise, the podcast about the people shaping the hospitality industry and their journeys. I'm your host, Alice Cheng, founder and CEO of Culinary Agents, hospitality's go-to hiring platform. And I'm here to give you your dose of virtual mentorship. Here, we'll be sharing the stories, lessons learned, and advice from hospitality leaders who've carved out their own path to success. After all, this industry is where many get their start and go on to do incredible things. Whether you're a pro, starting out, or just love the hustle, this podcast highlights what makes hospitality extraordinary: the people. We're so excited to have Andrew Black with us here today. Andrew is the Chief Culinary Officer of Counter Service, which is an exciting new concept that we're going to hear more about. Andrew, welcome.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. I have a lot of love for culinary agents, so I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully, our tool gives you love back.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
um, well, we're gonna get to the cool stuff you're working on now, but this show is all about how you got here and stuff that advice you picked up along the way. So tell me about how you got started in hospitality.
Yeah. When I think back on it, it's a lot of my upbringing. So both my parents were artists. My dad is a painter. My mom's a photographer, and so we just sort of my sister and I grew up cooking a lot. There was a lot of this creative energy in the house. We grew a lot of food that we ate. We um, we cooked nearly every meal together. My dad baked a lot of bread, and so I just grew up with that as like natural sort of way of eating, we followed a lot of this like macrobiotic diet, which was a bit unusual for a kid my age in Arizona, where I'm from, of all places to eat. But it was just natural to me, and so I think a lot of that has like sort of um, followed through in my like way of thinking about food now and what I appreciate about ingredients and the way I think about eating. And so
That was very, very like forward thinking. It's like, you probably that was just normal for you, but the rest of the world was just catching up with like, oh wait, food is fuel, and what you put in your body actually makes a
yeah,
difference.
no, I was eating like sprouted grains and tofu and rice milk and all this stuff that like is kind of cool now, but like is healthy, and it was just sort of normal for us. And I look back and I'm really thankful for that. That my parents ingrained that in us, and we weren't eating like tons of processed food or anything. But it's been fun to like sort of rediscover my roots through food in that way.
Yeah, and while you were, so clearly you were exposed to it in a different way, or in, well, should I say the right way?
Like
And you're growing up. Did you think like, oh, I want to do something in food, or is that just like that's life, and I'm gonna go
yeah.
do stuff?
So I was a pretty good student, and I had an opportunity to basically have a full ride to the local college in Tucson. And when it when the time came to like decide, nothing really interested me other than food, and so uh, I basically looked for. This is in high school. I looked for jobs in the industry and worked at some very casual things that were local. But I wanted to do something more in food, and there was a Le Cordon Bleu branch a few hours from where I grew up, and I enrolled for like a baking competition, and I got first place. And so that was sort of like the impetus for like, okay, like I can do this. Like I I like the energy here, and um, what a fun opportunity to like explore professionally.
Nice. So you went to Cordon Bleu for school, and then from there, it looks like you went straight into hotels.
Yeah, so there was like a hiring fair at Le Cordon Bleu, and I hadn't worked in any professional kitchens at the time, and I thought that was maybe like a safe way to like get started. And I worked at like some nicer hotels, like resorts in the Scottsdale area. But I always had like a drive and a passion for like fine dining at that point in my life, and wanted to work for like the best chefs. And so I worked for Laurent Tourondel for a while. He opened like a steakhouse, which is like a little more upscale, and there was a connection to New York there actually as well. So I'd come and visit some friends, and we would eat at the steakhouse, and it'd be like sort of treated as like a VIP, like very early on in my career, which is like this strange, like I don't know. For me, it was like so fun and like eye opening. Like the industry can be so uh, hospitable and like generous, and I really love that. And then got inspired to work for this guy Kevin Binkley, who really was like my mentor. He's an amazing chef. He worked at the French Laundry and brought that sort of like intensity and like organization of kitchens to this remote little kitchen in the desert. And we worked side by side with a small team, and he really taught me how to cook and season and source ingredients and work with really high quality ingredients. And it was really inspiring to see him do that in an environment where he was really the only one taking that like level of attention and care to food at that time in Arizona. And he would always come to New York for award ceremonies and things, and inspired me to really take the next step to come here.
Yeah, and um that's just a great example of how when people go get experience in other places and then bring that to other areas. That's something really unique, I think, in this industry, and kind of got an indirect experience or masterclass, if you will, of what it's like to work in French Laundry, right? And that I think is just that's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean it was a fun time. Like it was so hard. I was finishing culinary school. I was working there a lot. I was like sleeping in my car in the parking lot to not make, miss class in the morning. It was like brutal. And I was like, "Oh god, this is hard, but I love it." And I think it really ingrained some strong work ethics from the beginning for me.
Nice, nice. So you clear. I keep seeing this kind of reference to like New York, New York. So is that how
Yeah.
you're like, I need to get to New York?
Yeah, so I knew that again, like I wanted to work for great chefs, and I knew that New York was a place that had a lot of them. Uh, and I let's see, this was a long time ago. I came and crashed on my friend's couch, who was not a chef, but was generous enough to have me come stay for a few nights, and I did a trial, like a stage at 11 Madison, where I really wanted to work. uh, Cooked for Daniel and did the whole thing, and wasn't offered a job. They're like, "Yeah, it's, good, but we don't really have any availability now." I was like, "Okay, well, I really, I keep following up until you offer me something," basically.
Yeah,
And so I ended up moving here, just hell bent on working there, and didn't have a job, didn't have a plan really, just a hope. And it was a couple months before I got anything locked down, but I ended up working uh, a few other jobs for some great chefs in the meantime, um, and really got my first taste of like kitchen culture in New York, which was really fun.
yeah, not too shabby. I see Aldia here. I just saw George,
Mm.
and also Lincoln
Yeah,
under Benno, under
yeah,
Chef
yeah.
Benno.
Benno was there. Yeah,
Nice, nice. And then you got see, you got to be persistent. You got to
yeah.
just
Kept following
take the
up.
leap. You got
Yeah,
to move cross country, and you got to.
yeah. The energy of the city like really grew on me. I was very excited to be here. Very young and eager, and I just kept following up with I think it was Daniel Hume's assistant at the time, and James Kent, and finally was offered a position and started from the bottom, and I went in, thinking I knew a lot, but really quickly learned that I didn't really know much. And it was an amazing time to be there. I mean, so much talent, so many chefs now that are successful in their own ways.
Yeah. Do you remember like one thing or one of the like wow moments when you got there that was like, whoa, I wasn't prepared for that, or I didn't know that's how that
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. So I mean, I'd never worked in restaurants that had such prestige and were on their trajectory to be something huge, and or even on a team that was so big. And so having this like camaraderie to like work towards this goal that was like really hard to achieve, but like we were going to get there was a feeling that I had never felt. And it was pretty amazing to get that really soon after I started. There were 4 stars from the New York Times, and then they were 1 Michelin star at the time, got 3. There was a cookbook. They're opening Nomad. I mean, there was so much going on, and it was amazing to be there then.
Do you remember, like, one thing that you took away from when you, left that kitchen?
Oh, man. There's
Probably many things,
so
right?
many things, yeah. One really impactful thing, came from James Kent, actually. He, I think, was an amazing leader. He offered me the job and made a big impact on a lot of people, obviously. But I remember him saying, like, you to be a good leader, you have to have empathy. And as a young cook, I didn't even know what that meant. Like, I was selfish and would do whatever I needed to do to make my station set up. And he was inspiring in the sense of like leading this team. He had so many people that respected him and his word, and um, really taught me how to lead and be, as a sous chef there, and like led teams across the stations, and really understood that like if you have a connection with the people on your team and you feel their pain and you listen to them and really like have some sort of connection that isn't so transactional, you can build a lot of strength and have them be more productive, and all in just making the team more strong in the long run. So that was like something that sticks with me today.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. He definitely had a huge impact on the industry and people, and everyone's carrying out his legacy today. Um, so you spent several years at EMP, and then you went to do something totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, I was really tired. I was kind of burnt out. I had worked in like higher end restaurants, but mostly my whole career, um, and wanted to do something different, but still in food. And I really just needed a break, basically. So working at EMP, you meet a lot of international chefs, and was lucky to make connections with a handful of them. And so I traveled for a while. I volunteered in Southeast Asia for a long time. Got to know that food, and was incredibly eye opening. Like everything I thought was like the right way to do something was the wrong way over there. And it was just like it was so fascinating to me. And I just have like a deep love for for spicy food and those flavors. And took a nice break, and then came back and wanted to still do something with food, something that's like a little nicer, but still learn. And took a chocolate maker job at Mast. At the time, had their factory in Williamsburg, not far from where I lived, and uh, started just making chocolate with them. And they were on a trajectory to do great things and open more locations, and they brought me on to help with that. So I became the head chocolate maker there, and helped coordinate expansion in Brooklyn, London, Los Angeles, new production lines, new SKUs for them, and it was really fun. Like it was eye opening for sure. Working with just a handful of ingredients, making a lot of different things with those ingredients, and they had an amazing following at the time.
That's so interesting. I'm gonna say something that maybe kind of ignorant here, but you were savory,
Yeah,
and I know you won a baking competition, when you were younger, but then you went on to the savory side, and then you do all this stuff, and now you're the head chocolate maker.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. It was
So I guess you've got savory and sweet both under your belt.
yeah. I mean, I love baking things. Like I said, I grew up baking a lot with my dad, and I love the precision of it, and uh, definitely learned a lot from them. But it was different in the sense like chocolate is its own beast. Like there's so many variables and ways to get it to the final product, and we really treated it like food. Something they did was like wrap it in butcher's paper. Like it wasn't like this precious thing that you see like commercials for on TV for like lint or something like that. And they had a different way of approaching it, which I appreciated.
Great. So you did that for a couple years, traveling. Looks like you traveled a lot. Geez. And then you did what I feel like a lot of people sometimes dream to do. You went to be a private chef for a while.
Yeah, I missed, a lot of the aspects of cooking at that point, and knew that I didn't really want to get back into fine dining, but still had a passion for, quality ingredients and things like that, and I tried it out, and it was tough and fun and challenging in new ways, and I definitely learned a lot about myself and what I'm capable of doing, and yeah, I did that for a few years, and it was really fun. Got to see other parts of the world, and I think now it's become so common for chefs to take
Yeah.
the path, right?
So for the listeners who are like, "Wow, I wanna do that," or maybe are dreaming to do that, but don't know how to or don't know how to get started, like, do you have any tips for them? Like, how did you get into that? Did you connect with, like, a person or a family or an
Yeah.
agency or something?
There's plenty of agencies, but I think the best way to like get into something like that where you're gonna have a good connection is like word of mouth. And so this is from a friend in the industry who I helped him with a dinner one night, and I was like, "Hey, I would do this again. Do you know anybody?" And kind of like the next day, he's like, "Yeah, this guy." uh,
Nice.
and one thing led to another, and it really is a small industry, but it's such a small world. Like when it comes to that part of the industry, and um, one thing led to another, and ended up working for a few people and having a great time doing it.
Yeah, I always say, make it known what you want, because
Yeah.
you never know who's listening, you never know who they know.
Yeah.
Because, people enjoy great food and there definitely are people out there who have the means to have that great food come to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's rewarding for you as a chef too, like, you get to work with ingredients that maybe you didn't get to in the past, or, like, try something you never had a chance to, or, go somewhere you've never had a chance to, so it's not for everyone, that's for sure, but I think if you keep an open mind and try it out, at least once, then it's worth it.
Great, great. Great advice. Um, okay, now fast forward to some of the cool things you've been doing the past couple of years and then
Yeah.
what you're doing now. So take me there.
Sure. I helped start this restaurant concept called Kernel, um, and it was very automation forward. There's a lot of tech and robotics and things like that, and we were serving a plant-based menu, which I was really excited about. I still am very excited about, but there's this model where we have a central kitchen that produced food from scratch with real chefs making delicious stuff all day, and then we would deliver it to our restaurants around the city throughout the day to make sure it's always fresh and consistent, and then it would be essentially finished in the restaurants. And so this hub and spoke model works pretty well, but the menu I think was a little late in like resonating with the like plant forward movement, and it didn't stick quite like we wanted to, and it was an amazing learning experience, but late last year we decided to pivot a little bit, and so now here we are making sandwiches, which are delicious, and it is working how we want it to now, and the customer base is super excited, and the team is thrilled to build this, and we have one location now, but we're going to be opening some more this year.
Yeah. And I'm gonna brag about it a little bit more. Fill in some of the mysterious blanks that you've left. Your I'll call it the leadership team and the founding folks at Colonel is Steve Ells, right?
Yeah.
From of Chipotle. How did you connect with this group?
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, I think it was again through like mutual friends in the industry. I mean, Steve is an amazing uh, chef. I mean, he and I like are interested in the same things. He knows how to cook. He's a great cook. Like appreciates quality ingredients, and was really passionate at the time about creating like the next generation of restaurants. And so we got together and started talking about it, and tried a lot of different things, and here we are. I mean, it's really busy now. We are figuring out a lot of things as we go, but we also are lucky to have some infrastructure in place through him and his connections to hopefully make this a super successful chain of restaurants here.
Yeah, it will be. I'm gonna draw a parallel here into the tech startup world because For those of you who may or may not have known about the initial concept kernel, with their tech forward, they also had the robotic arm. Is that the way to describe it? I'm sure there's a better technical term for it. But that, the testing out a new way for basically, like you said, having the hub and spoke, the central like delivery, and then finishing at the restaurant locations, and then utilizing and using robotics and technology in a different way.
Yeah.
And then obviously with that came a lot of different challenges. I think I read somewhere or listened to somewhere that like literally like in Manhattan, like when you have to put the like arm into the ground, like the depending on the building and the location, how the cement is placed on the floor, like there are
Okay.
just so many other things that you wouldn't even think about.
Yeah.
Um, and so, after that, had its thing, and true to like I guess any kind of startup or entrepreneurial I can't say that word today. Um, you take a step back and you're like, okay, is this really the best way forward? Is there a different way? Is it still help? Is our mission and our purpose still the same? And how can we go about it a different way? And as a result, counter service, which is kind of the 2.0 of the business, if you will,
Yeah.
making high quality, delicious, sandwiches that are finished at the restaurant locations, right? But prepared and portion and everything at a central location.
Mhm.
And so you can have quality control. I'm making some of this up, but I'm seeing you nodding. So it's
You're right.
probably true, right?
You're totally right. Yeah, no, it's you've got it.
You can do your 4-day marinades, whatever you want to do, and
Yeah,
make sure that the proteins are prepared a specific way. And then you have, your execution manual, at the end, and probably allow your workers to focus more on the guest experience rather than,
exactly.
cooking.
That's exactly right, and it gives us a lot more control over the quality of the food that we're serving, having this central production kitchen, and, we don't need a hood for the restaurant, so we can go into really small locations. It's a pretty tight little setup, especially here on 14th Street. It's pretty scrappy,
I keep
but
hearing about these egg sandwiches. All I keep hearing about these egg
we're making
sandwiches.
it work. Yeah, the food is good. It's like everyone knows what a sandwich is, and we think what are good versions of them. And there's breakfast, there's lunch. The menu's pretty small. There's less than 20 items, a couple snacks. And people come for breakfast and lunch in the same day. Like we're so excited to be able to, you know, serve this to people who are excited about it.
Yeah, and I love this as, highlighting your career path of, how you started and then the time you spent in fine dining, and then bringing it back to a more casual setting, if you will, right? But still with
Yeah.
high quality and still doing what you want and love. And I'm sure you're also, I mean, you have a hand in what's getting created, how it's being done, etc. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, we bring a lot of the same attention to detail to what we're making as you would in a fancy restaurant. I mean, we still weigh everything in grams and there's recipes for everything and we follow them strictly. And but I mean none of this would be possible without the amazing team we have. We have great cooks and chefs and our culinary director Neil Stutz is amazing. Uh and it's coming together and I think there's an opportunity here to create some high quality sandwiches at a scale that it hasn't really been done before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are, but I'm curious to see how this continues to unfold. I mean, for those of you who are out there listening, who are going through their careers, want to open either your own restaurant one day, or your own business. I think it's kind of it's important to think about you know all of these different ways that you can have a business. Right, a restaurant can be fine dining, can be fast casual, can be whatever. Clearly, your leadership has experience with growing a concept and taking that and making it, growing it, right? And at high scale and massive. So, that definitely is a growth mindset. But, for folks who are thinking about, what next, right? What do I want to do next? Or how do I take my experience and my learning and take it into another direction or something that is mine? These are really interesting examples of different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I never thought I would open a sandwich shop or be making sandwiches like this. But I think having an open mind and being, saying yes to things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily always be interested in, it can lead you down a path that's pretty amazing.
What's the most challenging thing right now that you're kind of thinking about?
Well, this is where you come in. This is bringing in the good people. Yeah. I part of this concept is a lower labor model. And we are practicing that now, but I'm also still there basically every day making sandwiches, and that can't be how it is for long term, even though I really enjoy it. So, we really want to find good people who are passionate about the industry, who love food, who are genuinely excited about what we're doing, uh, and create an environment that is a little different than your average sandwich shop or casual restaurant. I mean, we're building a culture that's different, and we have great benefits, and we compensate really well, and so these are all intentional things, like, because we want the best people. We want people that are going to help us grow and can provide feedback and really important um, parts of growing a young business.
Right. Well, we at Culinary Agents are looking forward to supporting all of those things. But that's super important is you hit on it, right? The culture is like when in the beginning, this is where you're setting the groundwork. This is what essentially is a huge pillar in the long-term success and growth of your company, right? And the answer in a way, in many ways, for your team to find leadership and so that you all can take a step back and focus on the future and the strategic things while we're executing and you want them to be happy and, you know, part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and we want them, that's exactly right. I mean, we want them to be happy and provide us feedback as the leaders of the company to make their jobs better and easier and more enjoyable. Like, for so long as cooks in, nice restaurants, like, you're just kind of trained to just not say anything and just bear and grin, and that has a place, I guess, but that's not what we want. We want people to, like, help us grow, and I think that's part of the culture that I'm really, like, driving home is empowering the team to, you know, do their jobs, and but also, like, help me help them, like, set them up for success. Because if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, I love it. That's a perfect segue into quick fire.
Oh, here we go.
What advice would you tell your younger self?
Have more compassion for myself and others, and maybe not freak out about little details so much.
What's your advice for someone struggling in the industry?
Take a step back, go on a trip, go, like, splurge on a meal, and just take a breather, because the industry is so big and there's so many opportunities. Like, maybe you're just not in the part of the industry that is the right fit for you.
What's your advice for fellow hospitality leaders?
Listen to your team. I mean, have empathy. Again, tying it back to James, like, try to build a connection with your team, because the more you invest in them, the more they're gonna want to work with you.
Thank you so much. And on that note, Andrew, we are so excited to see what's next from you and your team. And thank you so much for taking the time for sharing.
Thank you, Alice. Great to be here.
Remember, success looks different for everyone in hospitality. No two paths are the same. If you have a leader or a topic you want to hear about, email media@culinaryagents.com. Hospitality on the Rise is brought to you by Culinary Agents, connecting top talent with employers since 2012. Whether you're hiring or looking for your next opportunity, join us at culinaryagents.com. For more inspiration, subscribe to Hospitality on the Rise and visit hospitalitycareerpaths.com, a free platform by Culinary Agents. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you love this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration.